What's going on, everybody? Cable Guy Ken coming to you live once again from his front yard. The only change is ain't Cable Guy Ken no more. Got tagged by Medicjim. Did a video the other day, and he tagged me in at about 5 things you'll have to do without, or 5 things you can do without in a survival situation. Hadn't made a video in a while. Been kind of busy. Got released from Time Warner Cable. Reasons I don't really care to go into in detail at this time, but to me it was BS that I got fired. I mean, the reasons they gave, you know, I ain't had a write-up in 10 years. They could have wrote me up or something, I don't know. That's their choice, their loss. So if anybody knows any work in Florence, South Carolina, I'm kind of looking for a job. When you're 42 years old, got a baby on the way. What did I say? Yeah, that's right, y'all. I'm going to be a daddy again. The old man still got some spunk in him. But got a baby on the way. Found out the day before they fired me that I was going to have another baby. So I'm going to be a dad, kind of looking for work, kind of trying to figure some things out. But I mean, I'm alright, you know. God will take care of me. That's the main thing that matters. I've always got God no matter what else I got. And if you got God, what else do you really need, you know? So 5 things you can do without in a survival situation. That's kind of a tricky one for me. I mean, a lot of the things have already been mentioned. Obviously, you're not going to have grocery stores. You know, you're not going to have access to your ATM machines and stuff like that. Because if the crap hits the fan, you know, probably one of the first things that's going to shut down is your communications networks, and that includes your internet. And ATM machines run off of an internet-based connection, a broadband connection, most of them. I mean, you know, all that stuff's going to disappear. You're not going to have your police and fire departments. They're going to be so busy dealing with other things that you're not going to be able to call on them. Really, in my opinion, in that scenario, all you're going to have is the immediate family that are with you and the things that you yourself already have. Now, if it came to that, would I bug out or would I stay in? It's kind of hard to say. I mean, obviously I live in a trailer, so it doesn't give me the best protection in the world. You know, if something bad was to happen, you know, bullets just sail right through it. It's a tin can with a roof on it, literally. My Blazer's not running at this time, so I'm stuck to a front-wheel drive car as my bug-out vehicle, which is not the prime candidate. I'd rather have my Blazer with 4-wheel drive and the big tires and all on it, plus it's a metal body, you know, solid. I'd rather get it running and use it if I had to. And here where I'm at, there's really not a lot of places to go if you had to bug out that isn't privately owned and, you know, wouldn't cause you more problems than they're worth to use for a situation like that. But you know, there's so much we take for granted on a daily basis. You know, you're not going to have an income in a situation like that. You know, obviously I don't have one now, so, you know, I'm seeing firsthand what I've got to deal with and what I'm going to have to do without, as far as, you know, what I can afford to pay for now. Like Jim was saying, you know, men and women alike, because a lot of men do it. You're not going to have your beauty salons and stuff like that, so, you know, you're going to have either a good sharp knife for your shaves, or you're just going to have to go all Grizzly Adams looking, which suit me just fine. You're not going to have tailors. You're not going to have meat markets. You know, it's going to be a fend for yourself kind of world. So really, the better question would be, what can you do without in a, you know, in a crap hits the fan type situation? You know, you really need to ask yourself these questions. We all have our little bug out bags, and, you know, we all practice our skills and all, but what can you really do without, you know? Not just what can your skills do for you, what have you practiced enough that you're proficient enough with that you'd be okay, but what are the things that you can live without, and how hard would it be for you to live without them? How long will it take you to acclimate yourself to that situation? These are questions I think we all need to ask ourselves. You know, obviously, I'm going through a time right now where I've got to give up a lot of things, and it takes a change. I mean, it's hard changing. I'm used to being able to go on there and hop on Rob's website and order something, you know, because I want it. Not because I need the gear, but because I want it. And, you know, when something like that happens, or even something as simple as just losing your job, especially in today's market, today's economy, you've got to ask yourself, you know, how hard is it going to be for me to adjust to all this? Because it's really been, you know, I'm shell-shocked by the changes that I'm having to make. It's something I never expected to happen. I honestly expected to retire from Time Warner. That was my intention. I definitely didn't think that, you know, a company you dedicated all your time to would just let somebody go just like that. But I said that was their choice and their loss. I still don't agree with the reasons that I was fired, but I don't make those decisions. They do. And anybody watching this video can be in the same position. Obviously, the guy that caused all this to happen, I hope he realizes he's in the same position I was in. They don't have to give you a warning, especially in the state of South Carolina. It's a right-to-work state, or a free will state, I guess you could say. I forget the terminology they use for it, but you don't have to have reason to leave a job, but also at the same time, they don't have to have a reason to fire you. All they got to do is tell you they don't need you anymore. So, I mean, it kind of blows, but that's the way it is. And you know, with today's economy, it's going to be hard for somebody with my experiences to find another job. I mean, I know a lot of things. I can do mechanic work, I can paint, I can do some carpentry, I can do some metal work, but I don't have any paperwork that says I know all these. I've just got the life skills and life experiences, and most employers today, they don't give a rat's butt about what you know. They care about what you can put on paper and show that you know. So as far as my learned skills, I can operate a press, a folder, a paper cutter, a processor, stuff like that, and I can do cable work, obviously. Those are the only two jobs I've really ever had that gave me any accreditation to learn anything. Let me try to make a list here real quick, because I'm just kind of rambling, and I know some of you don't mind that. You enjoy my rambles, but 5 things in a crap hits the fan type situation that you can live without, or that you'll have to live without. That's kind of a hard one. Obviously, you're going to have to live without the banks. You're going to have to live without the hospitals, the fire department, the police department, any kind of EMT services. So really, in my opinion, the important things that you're going to have to be able to be proficient on is you're going to have to be able to do your own first aid. You're going to have to be your own police department. I hate to say it, but in that type of situation, in a world gone crazy type scenario, there's not going to be a law. There's going to be God's law and your law. And if somebody's threatening your family, I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, but you're not going to be able to pick up the phone and call 911 and say there's a guy trying to break into my house. You're going to have to make the decision of, are you capable of taking a human life and disposing of the body? Because there's not going to be a police force to come out and take care of him. You're going to be the last priority on their list. They're going to be protecting the banks, the congressmen, the business, but they're going to be taking care of the big people or the little people in this situation. So you're going to have to handle that yourself. If a fire breaks out in your house, or if somebody tries to burn you out, are you going to be able to put out that fire? Are you going to be able to handle that situation? Do you have a contingency plan for that situation? You know, these are things I think you all need to think about. And I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but being tagged in this video, really it makes you think a lot about what can happen. You know, not just practicing your bushcraft skills and some light trapping and stuff, but can you make a large-scale trap out of the smaller traps you've made to protect your perimeter or your house? Because if you've got a pile of food in your house and your neighbors know about it, how long do you think it's going to be before they realize that they've got an easy-to-shop-at place right next door? All they've got to do is break in, take you out of the picture. Now they've got your groceries. You know, in that kind of situation, you'd be surprised at how close friends can become your worst enemies quickly. When people are in need, anything's possible. Look at the guy Mr. Lee, I believe was his last name, that hijacked the Discovery building the other day. This guy had a great deal of intelligence. I'm not saying the guy was crazy, but he had a plan, he had a thought process, and in his grand scheme of things, with his reasoning, he deemed it necessary to hijack an entire multi-million-dollar building and all the people inside of it. One guy with a gun and what may have been explosives. I hadn't caught up on the news yet to know if it was truly explosives or not, but I mean, we knew he didn't stand a chance. Anybody looking at the TV knew he didn't stand a chance. Anybody that knows anything about the police department up there knew he didn't stand a chance of making it out of there alive. But in his mind, he did. And that's the mindset of the people that you're going to have to deal with in this scenario that we're talking about. Is these people aren't going to be thinking rationally. You're going to have to do the thinking for them. If they've got 4 or 5 kids and they're down to their last little bit of food, and you've got 50 pounds of meat in a deep freezer somewhere or in an underground cellar or something, they're not concerned with how many guns you've got. Trust me. As far as they're concerned, they can make it, and they're going to do what they got to do to get their provisions just like you would. Me personally, would I kill somebody to take their food? No. God's going to provide food for me. I'm going to keep that mindset. I've been keeping that mindset since I was released from employment. God will provide for me. But there are a lot of people out there that don't believe that way. A lot of people that even though they believe in God, they don't have the ability to stand strong on that faith, and they're going to do what they got to do. So, you know, just some things to think about. I'm not trying to scare anybody at all, believe me. Y'all know I'm not about fear tactics or anything like that. I'm not a survivalist by any means. I don't believe in the survival mentality. I just believe in being prepared and, you know, being able to take care of yourself, not necessarily being able to survive a worldwide tragedy, but just being able to take care of yourself before it gets to that point. I don't do these things so that when it does go crazy, I'm good. I do it so that I'm good now. You know, I can save a little bit of money doing some of the things I do. Don't really have a group of people I'd like to tag for this. I would like to get more of what I'd consider an expert opinion. I know Dave can't do any videos, but him and Critter are so much alike. I'd like to see Steve Critter Davis do a video on this. So if you can do one for us, Steve, I'd appreciate it. Maybe give your opinion on some things that, you know, what you think about what you'd have to do without. Some of the things that really, the way I look at it, things we need to focus on. Maybe like to see, you know, Mike Davis, he lives out, you know, Pacific Northwest. I'd like to see his opinion on where he's at, because everybody's climate and their geographical region is going to change the things that they do without as well. You know, there's some places where people already do without some things that I have here that I take, you know, as commonalities. So maybe Steve Davis, Mike Davis, no relation. I'd like to see them two do a video on this. And I think really that'd be the only 2 opinions. Not that I don't value everybody's opinion, but those are the 2 opinions I'd like to see. Differences in location and experience and all for what I'm taking into account. So those are the 2 people I'd like to tag for this. And I'll be posting this on their page just so they'll know. So feel free to leave me comments, fellas. I don't know what I'm going to do with this channel since I'm not the cable guy. I don't feel right using Cable Guy Ken as a moniker anymore. But I don't know if I'm going to leave it or not. I might still leave it because I'm still going to be the cable guy. If Larry can get away with it, why can't I, you know? Cable Guy Ken, or whatever you want to call me right now, like Rob said. Maybe I'm just the real deal Ken Steele. You know what I'm saying? But we'll catch you in the next video.